Buzz, or how important, in your opinion, is it to get the first round, the first day bye at the SEC tournament?
Yeah, very, very. I haven't, to be honest with you, I haven't looked at it. But I think anytime you can have one more day of prep and/or one more day off prior to playing consecutive games, you for sure want to do that.
And what do you sell your team on for this game against Georgia when you're saying, hey, this game is important because?
Because we want to win, because we want to be our best, because we haven't been our best the last 2.5 weeks. I don't think it would be anything different than any other game in regards to why do we play and why do we want to be successful. I would think that would be the same.
You feel like how close are y'all to breaking out?
I thought we had an incredible fight from start to finish on Wednesday. I thought they gave great effort. I thought they were together. I thought they were connected. I thought the game plan was right. I thought we did a lot of good things that we haven't done. Just not quite good enough. But I felt differently during the game than I had the previous 2 games, which was good. And I actually think our guys felt that too.
At this point in the season, how much do you zoom out with what's on the line at this point, or is it still very much we gotta go game by game and stick to our routine?
Yeah, I think the routine changes a little bit after Valentine's Day, just as far as the wear and tear. Film sessions aren't quite as long. Practices are not quite as long. Anytime you're playing a new opponent, it probably adds to the length of time just for familiarity. We've kind of, instead of lengthening a film room session, we've tried to find gaps of time. Like before we have dinner tonight, we'll cheat a 15-minute meeting. Before shoot around the last 6 or 7 weeks, we've been having a shoot around meeting just for 10 or 12 minutes. We call them big rocks, the priorities. How can we convey, show, teach, write, walk through each of the big rocks without doing it all at one time? And I think that's been good for our guys.
What do you know about Georgia, and what's it going to take to get a win there?
3, 4, and 11 are Mo, 4, and Boots in regards to their speed, their talent with the ball, their talent at getting to the rim, ability to get fouled. 54 is probably the biggest quarterback in the SEC. When 3, 4, or 11 don't have it, he's instigating a lot of what they want to do, particularly in the half court. He's a load inside. When he has the ball at the rim, he makes really good decisions, but he catches the ball on the perimeter and makes really good decisions as well. And then they have 2 or 3 snipers that you have to make a decision on if 3 and 4 and 11 are not going downhill. And when 54 has the ball on the perimeter, he's always looking for them as well. So it was the tale of 2 halves in their last game. LSU did a great job keeping them out of the paint in the first half, and then couldn't keep them out of the paint in the second half. So I think there's some similarities in regards to their guard play, but 54 changes their team once the first 10 or 12 seconds of the possession has transpired.
How encouraging was it what you got from Manny the other night?
I thought it was the best Mo had played all season. On both sides. He was obviously made more free throws in that game than he had in SEC play. He does have the ability to go downhill. But he was very predictable, as I mentioned to you after the game, offensively. 2 really big defensive rebounds, and then he's continued to improve off the ball defensively, not getting turned around and confused on what's happening. And I thought he was very engaged. And I think over the last couple of weeks, he's been making progress in the games and in practice. But I thought, and I told him as much, so I'm not saying anything to you I didn't say to him. I thought it was the best he's been since he was a freshman.
As Manny mentioned that pregame warm-ups, y'all tweaked some things. You obviously dressed down, shaved the goatee, trying to mix some things up. I'm wondering, is that something you guys want to keep doing, just kind of mixing things up? Or
I don't know. I have a hard time not wearing a suit and tie. But again, at that point, we had lost 4 in a row. Is there any, let's go back to the original starting lineup and see if that helps. Any tweak that we're making is not to sacrifice what we believe in. It's just to try to potentially spark something. And we'll try it again, a few different things to spark some things tomorrow. We've changed what we did today, and we'll change a little bit about what we do tonight, and even have some changes planned for tomorrow as well, for the same purpose.
I don't know if you've kind of seen this narrative about the Big 12 and their out-of-conference scheduling and how they've kind of gamed the net system.
I haven't watched TV or looked at my phone in a long time, so I'm not familiar. You're talking about play Grambling and beat them by 50?
Yes.
I think what I would say on the net, obviously I'm number centric, so I love anything that has to do with numbers. There were a lot of ways to game the RPI back when, and I think potentially a part of the reason why the algorithm or the formula for the net has never been released is so coaches don't figure out how to game it, so to say. But I do think it's obvious if you watch it, your metrics and the line of the game, the predictability of what is supposed to transpire matters a lot. I do think there's value in the quad 1, quad 2, quad 3, quad 4. I think it's understanding the weight of each of those. So I think we've played 12 quad 1 games, and we have had problems in the past of not playing enough quad 1 games. And now we've played more than enough, but what's hurting us are the metrics. And so I think probably what you're talking about is some of those non-conference schedules don't play quad 1s, play quad 4s, and over exceed the metrics. I asked an official during our Houston Christian game, he got upset with me for my tone of voice in the last couple of minutes. And he said, "Buzz, why are you flipping out?" And I said, "Yeah, that's a good point. It's the game before Christmas, and we're winning by 30. And I said, "Are you familiar with the net?" And he said, "The net?" And he's standing next to me, and he's pointing at the net. And I go, "Obviously not that net." But I think what happens is like I mentioned it in postgame. I've known the coach at Houston Christian since I was a freshman in college. His daughter went to school here. His daughter's a coach. I said, "Coach, we need to play well metrically in this game, regardless of result, because it impacts our net. Not because they were quad 4, but to your point." So I'm not sure where it'll all go. And what is the NCAA tournament going to become? I know there's some TV companies that are going to put together their own tournament. So I don't know. But I think if everybody knows what it is, I do think that always helps.
Would you like to continue to have a strong non-conference schedule, or would that?
Well, we haven't finished all of our non-conference schedule for last year. There's some other things involved that the media is unaware of or the public's unaware of in regards to non-conference scheduling that has to do with exposure, that has to do with NIL. And so there's a lot of decisions that have to be made in advance in that regard. But I do think that our non-conference schedule gave us our best chance to potentially absorb what has transpired. You don't want it to transpire. You don't want to lose 5 in a row. But it's probably a balance. And I think how many home games can you play? I think the MTEs are going to go away because of some of the things that we're talking about. You can kind of create MTEs the way Coach Gillespie did when he was here. Do it for net purposes, do it for NIL purposes. So the problem is you have to do all of this stuff so far in advance. And so, like, we've already signed contracts for MTEs for the next 3 years, I believe. Don't play as many games in the MTEs. That's why you're seeing some of them go to only 2 games. That's why you're seeing more neutral site games, because there's a higher propensity that if you play a neutral site game, you can sway whether it's a quad 1 or a quad 2. So you just have to make the decision so far in advance, and you don't know what your roster is going to be. So I don't know that there's a conclusive answer, but I do think if everybody knew, it would help.
For these final 3 regular season games, it's a lot about how your team's gonna respond. Is there anything that you've seen from the veteran leaders on your team that gives you confidence going into this final stretch?
I think Four has been the best leader in 2024 over the last 4 days than he has been since 2024 began. And I think that helped us on Wednesday. I think that helped us in preparation for Wednesday. And I also think it helped during the game on Wednesday. I think Four is a magnet in a good way. And when his words and his actions match one another, people want to follow him. Boots has the right actions. He's not an overly talkative guy, but obviously he understands what's at stake. Those guys are really close. And I think they understand what's transpired. And I think they understand we haven't played ourselves into the tournament and out of the tournament without a chance to play ourselves back into the tournament. And so how do we want to handle that? And that starts on Saturday. And whether it's Wednesday or next Saturday or the SEC tournament, none of it's any good if we don't turn it. And we need to turn it based on the leadership of those guys for sure.
Well, as you're a veteran coach, you've been at this a long time, and you've had some really great moments. You've had some ups and downs, right? Is it difficult keeping an even keel when you're in a situation like this and not taking it home and things like that?
Sure. Yeah, I pray about it a lot. I've had 2 losing seasons in conference play in 17 seasons. Obviously, one of them was during COVID. One of them was our first year at Virginia Tech. I don't want to emotionally vomit on you. You haven't caused it. I also don't want to treat our players like that. I don't want to treat our coaches like that. I don't want to talk about the model of college athletics. No, we were 6-4, and we've won some games maybe that we shouldn't have won, but we've proven that we can do it. But we've also lost 5 in a row, and we've proven that we can't do it. And so a leader leads when times are hard. And I think I need to be the model when things are hard, how to handle hard. And in truth, I've tried to be as judicious and efficient in my words and in my actions. I don't want Four and Boots to have the right words and the right actions and blame it on them. That's why there's a coach. And my job is to help. And I don't want to blame you or blame the schedule or blame the injuries or blame the suspension or blame. No, this is part of athletics. And how can we learn from this? How can we grow from this? And how can I still be a good person, I hope? How can I be a good husband? How can I be a good father? If we win a bunch, if we win out, if we lose out, my relationship with these guys and all of these guys, young and old, are still very important because in the end, I think that's what life's about.
All right, that's a wrap.